Hey everyone, hope everyone's day is going well. I wanted to do a video to show you how to make your own brushes in Photoshop. It's one of my most popular TikTok videos, so I wanted to go into a little more of a deep dive here on YouTube. So we're gonna start by creating your document, and you just wanna make sure that your document is high res so that your brush is high res. It can get too high res if you make it too big, but you'll know by when we go into edit and define brush preset, it'll be grayed out. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with a 17 by 11 at 300 DPI, and I'm going to go ahead and select my liner brush that I use for drawing, and then make a new layer. So now we're gonna go ahead and draw a shape. So I'm just gonna start with a very simple circular chain so that I can kind of show you how things get connected together. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer, and I want to create a circle that's drawn in my style. So I'm going to go ahead and there's many ways you could do this. You can use the ellipse tool, you can use the shape tool, you can use the path and then stroke it with a brush. I'm just going to go ahead and make a circle and then kind of draw along it. Draw my inner circle, and I want it to be unperfect because this is kind of like what my drawing style is like, so I want it to match any other piece that I'm doing if I'm going to use this brush in it. I'm going to add some details that I would typically add. Okay. So now that we have this, I'm gonna go ahead and drag it down a little bit. And our main one's gonna be the link in the middle, but I wanna make sure that they line up exactly. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then on the bottom one, we wanna erase from our main middle link. And then on this side, we would erase from the top of the bottom one. And then up here, this one's gonna go underneath, so we want to erase. Oh, sometimes this hurts my head. You gotta play around with it a little bit. This one goes underneath at the bottom, the top, so we want the bottom one to be erased here. Right, yeah. There we go. And then if I turn off the top and bottom, we should be left with this, so that when this repeats, it'll line up. Okay, so this middle one's gonna be the brush. So if you click on Command on a Mac or Control on a PC, and then you click on the actual icon of the layer, it's going to select just what's drawn in that layer. So once that's selected, we're gonna go up to Edit and then Define Brush Preset. Now here, if this Define Brush Preset is grayed out like how Define Pattern is, it means that it's too big to be made into a brush. So you just either wanna downsize your document a little bit, or you can just downsize the layer too before you select it. And I'm gonna do this chain test. And then immediately it's going to change to your brush tool with what you just selected as the brush. So I'm going to make a new layer up here so we can play around with this. So you'll notice if you just use the brush that you just created, it's going to make a very silly shape, so we have to change some of the settings. So we're going to go up to Window and then Brush Settings. And in your brush settings, there are a lot of things that we can play around with. So if you go to brush tip shape, you're going to notice that you can go ahead and turn it whatever angle you want it to be. So for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and turn it 90 degrees. And you'll notice it's still making that weird slinky shape, but it's in the direction that we want it to be. So now we have to play around with the spacing. So if we go to the spacing, you can see that we can kind of get it to line up, but it's still not lining up exactly. So I'm just gonna do that and see what's happening here. So this is going like this because they're not going in the right direction. So to change the direction, we're gonna go ahead and check on the shape dynamics. And then under angle jitter, it says control off. We're gonna put it on direction. And this makes it go in the direction that my pen is going in. So now we can go back to the spacing and try and line it up the best that we can from that image. And we just gotta play around with it. A lot of trial and error when you're making your own brushes. That one seems pretty good. Not so much when it's curving. So let's try it at a couple different sizes, because sometimes just changing the size will help with that. So we're good going straight. Okay, lines up pretty good at a smaller size. Let's go ahead and increase that to 65, see if it'll line up a little bit better. Actually needs to go a little bit lower. Okay, that lines up pretty good. And this is about the size that I would probably be using something like this. Probably even smaller, because it would be like for a necklace or like, yeah, jewelry or some kind of chain that's like in the background. So after we change the brush settings, if you were to just select a different brush, it's going to erase everything that you just did. So very important step is we're going to go up to the hamburger menu here, click on those 3 lines, and then do new brush preset. In the new brush preset, you can name it whatever you want. So I'm going to chain test 2. And then you can capture the brush size in the preset. So we're at 166. I'm going to go ahead and capture that because I know that that's like the size that I think it works best at. And then you can include the tool settings. I don't think I'm ever going to use this brush for an eraser. So when you select this in the brush menu, it's going to automatically go to the drawing brush tool. So I'm going to go and include that. I don't want to include the color because I want it to be whatever color that I select while I'm using the brush. And then I can hit OK. And now that brush is down here. It's also going to save like the original ones that you did, and you don't need those anymore because there's no brush settings, so I'm going to go ahead and delete those to save space. So now I can go select a different brush and then select back to my other brush, and it's going to have the settings that we just put on there.